What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. I am Ross Sapp. I will be flying solo tonight. This is your Fightful post show for AEW Dynamite for November 5th, 2025. Please leave a thumbs up on this show. Please share the link. We would greatly appreciate that. Just any help you guys can give us. Leave a nice review on any audio platform. That's all good stuff. And we got FightfulSelect.com. Now, there's a reason I'm leading with a FightfulSelect.com plug. We had some news today that we're going to talk about at the top of this show. The former Ridge Holland, we have reported that WWE cut his deal a week earlier than it was originally planned, and he is not getting paid throughout that point. WWE did confirm this to me as I had heard this, but I'm interested in what our chat thinks. This is after he had mentioned not being able to pay his mortgage because WWE informed him that his contract would not be renewed. Now, this was a practice that WWE never employed for years for injured wrestlers, and they just, quite frankly, don't care now. But I want to know what our audience thinks. How you feeling about this? If you mention one thing about karma, etc., you'll be banned. You just a dope, an absolute dope. But he is going to continue to be able to rehab there. But that's not gonna even be an issue, like because they would get sued for that. I'm surprised they're not getting sued for this because they asked him to work, or they had him work TNA without paying him extra for that. Like, very shocking, quite frankly, that this is the way that things are now. I guess it's not shocking. I guess it's the natural change to just a more corporate structure. We want to send well wishes to Alex. He let me know a little bit earlier that he was out of action, wasn't going to be able to do tonight. He should be back next week, but I want to thank all of you who were patient for me over the past week. We have been and still are dealing with a sick cat. She's been with us 14 years, and that's kind of got my priorities and my mind right now. So we were able to get me on today's show and tonight's show, but there's just a little bit bummed out over that. So I appreciate you guys sticking with us and all that. But we're here right now. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite and a lot of the other stuff going on. Before that, there's the Tony Khan announcement. Two announcements, really. One, that Queen Aminata is hurt and likely out of blood and guts next week. But the announcement that they are adding a new championship, a national championship, of which I saw someone from the NWA absolutely crashing out like it's the only time there's ever been a national championship. But I just do not want more championships in wrestling. I don't. And I even saw people that I like, by the way, say, oh, I never hear this about WWE and New Japan. And I'm like, huh? Every company that I cover, I'm like, why on earth do they have so many title belts? They just got rid of 2 in the last year. They got rid of the international title and the continental title and merged them into one. They got rid of the FTW title last year. 20 championships across Ring of Honor and AEW. 21 if you count the interim title. New Japan's got way too many title belts, considering that they're scaling back and not doing as many US shows as well. What do any of these mean anymore? Why? Now, what I don't want to happen is like, what was it, 2003 or whenever, when WWE were like, let's get rid of the Intercontinental title, let's get rid of the tag titles and all that. It's like a world championship, a world championship B. I'm completely fine with that. Your mid-card-ish title, your upper mid-card-ish title, sure. Tag trios, that's fine. 10 people, 10 men being champions on your show is completely fine, especially when you're already featuring ROH talent with championships, but not putting the ROH title matches on ROH TV. Somebody says we need the Fightful title. Buddy, where are we? Look right down there. There is one. Joel Pearl's been Fightful champion forever. It's just, what do they matter anymore? And the balls on people to have the conversation of, oh, well, nobody ever talks about this in any other company. What? When they brought in the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, I was like, what are you doing? Why do you need those? The Women's US Championship, not used. It's pointless. You want to make the Women's Intercontinental title mean more? Make it the golden ticket between brands, where there might be world champions, but this woman can go back and forth. Make it like the tag titles, because they've done nothing with the US title. At times, they've done almost nothing with the TNT title. That's changed now. Finally, they're doing something with the Trios title. But like ROH in general just is almost completely ignored. Ah, man. Don't know why we need another champion. Now, I will say the concept of this belt is one that I'm rather fond of. It goes across New Japan, CMLL, ROH, Indies, AEW, all that. But calling it a national title, I know you can't call it the international title now because you already did that. But if it's across multiple countries, it's not as much of a national championship. N. Simmons says, not mad at the new title, upset it wasn't a 1B title or a new mid-card title for the women. More men's titles equals less shine for the women. Well, TBS title is a 1B title. You had Jade Cargill hold that for like 500 days and not get beat. You've had Mercedes hold it for 500 days and not get beat. I think they've already got their 1B title. Plus, you've got ROH women's title that's been a thing for 1,000 days. So I think they've already got their 1B. Misfit Wrestling Podcast says, next week, Tony Khan will announce the AEW Bi-National Championship. Man. W. Curum says, the crux of this is simply TK doesn't want to beat anyone at the top, has a core of people who lose all the time. He looks at wrestling in a 2D way. Win equals good, loss equals bad. That's not compelling to me. Well, I'm going to try to dig into some of the motivation and inspiration around this. I feel like this will be a title of which CMLL people and New Japan people actually win. I think that will happen. I feel like this will get hot potatoed a lot more. And listen, WWE, WWF back in the day had championships like that were sort of traveling championships. Like I think they're one of their junior heavyweight titles or something like that. They had that did that. W. Curum says, Dave, it's Dave Koss. He says, the show has become a chore for me. Two of TK's major crutches are introducing titles to protect people and flooding talent on pay-per-view cards. Can't believe he's doing this new title. Miss Will plus Swerve too much, or so much. Yeah, this show definitely, it does miss Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, Kenny Omega, MJF, of which FightfulSelect.com, yeah boys, please subscribe, reported that MJF is finishing up filming Violent Night 2 very soon, but there is a bit of a void in this area. Now, I wouldn't say that the show is a chore for me. There are things that I like. I do like the women's tag team title element, but I'm just like, can we go one at a time here? Single file line? Because what's up with the ROH Pure Women's title? I'm just hoping they just don't eventually do anything with that, because that didn't need to be established anyway, especially before these women's tag titles. You got to figure out what you're doing with the interim ROH women's TV title, which I get a good feeling that Mercedes is just going to win it. Too many belts, man. Too many belts across every company. Mexico, Japan, the US, WWE, AEW. Too many title belts. Don't need them. Why? In one of them, you had a damn Heritage Cup that was continually defended as well. Don't need that many. I think TNA's probably got about the right amount. And they've still got like what, 6, 7? Oh man. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. Zach Schimmel says we have the All Atlantic Title 2.0 happening. 2 rematches from Wrestle Dream happening at Full Gear. Conflicted with what AEW is doing. We don't need rematches. We don't need more titles. AEW was at such a high point. Things are weird. So we'll get into the rematches specifically, but I do think that they're leaning on doing the same thing. And I don't think you should be doing that necessarily. Like, I don't know that there was a great need to continue the Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher thing. I do like the stipulation that was added to it, of which we can go ahead and speak about now, where the motivation for Kyle Fletcher to finally, or I don't want to say finally, but give him the rematch is there. So I like the way they set that up, because Don Callis said that if Mark Briscoe loses, he has to leave the conglomeration for good. And you know what? I like that. I thought that one made a lot of sense. I thought they set up the Samoa Joe turn on Hangman Page to lead to another match to be fine, because Hangman Page is seeing red so much that he has to, like, he wants to give Samoa Joe a title shot to get his hands on it. But I actually don't mind how those two were set up, and I'm not usually a big fan of like, oh, let's run this back. Arison sends a humper chat and says, if it's like a low card or low mid card TNT title, Nick Wayne should win the Casino Gauntlet and be the first national champion. Time to reheat him. Let him go on a tear on the Indies and abroad, then revisit the Christian feud. He could be where Fletcher is if given a chance. Which, by the way, Hurt Syndicate came out and we found out that Shelton and Bobby Lashley would be in the Casino Gauntlet. They were interrupted by Ricochet, who got some really good heat, by the way. Really, really good heat. And it was, I thought, a good segment, by the way. Like, you can tell. Like, listen, I'm sure that I know MVP doesn't like the dirt sheet, so to speak, but I think he's got like a bit of a misconstrued view of that. Like, I love the Hurt Syndicate's booking. I like that they don't lose. They shouldn't lose. And you can tell that MVP is motivated to work with and make people better when he is. So, like, if Private Party came back for some reason, I'd be very excited to see that. I think what they've done with the Demand is very good. And Ricochet was getting some good heat tonight, like really, really good heat. And I think that one goes a long way. They're both going to be competing, or they're all three going to be competing for the national title. But I think it's going to end up being more like a traveling title. Dave Koss says Wrestle Dream felt like a complete waste of our time. No one is doing anything different. They've essentially told us blood and guts means nothing. I think across the board in pro wrestling, these types of matches need to mean more. What is the benefit of winning besides kicking somebody's ass? Well, I would like to see something like maybe everybody on one team gets put in like a 6-pack challenge for the TNT title or the world title or something like that. I want to see something where you benefit from war games. I want to see that. I would love to see like the deadly draw, so to speak, the wild card. Give me 8 teams of trios, and I mean at complete random. Bobby Lashley, MJF, Kip Sabian, for all I care. And you can launch some feuds off that while developing a trios candidate, and then maybe like all 3 people on one team are the Death Riders, and you're like, how did that happen? How did that happen? And maybe they get upset. You build a feud off of that as well. I want them to try some new different things. Joshua D says took exception with Ricochet claiming he's spitting facts. We all know who is MF and spitting. Thank you, Josh. Is the Tanahashi story related to Wrestle Kingdom? TBD. Had to work on the Ridge Holland stuff today, but there's things I can and can't say there. Chi-Town Spurs says, really enjoyed this episode. Wrestling was diverse and each told stories within the matches that makes me excited for Blood and Guts and Full Gear. Well, I'm very excited for Blood and Guts. Well, you can tell they put on an all-star situation in order to put some asses in seats and put some eyeballs on the show. DNC Digital says, legally, when someone is released, are there papers they have to sign? If so, are there terms you can't escape, or is it all in the initial contract? I'm going to speak with an agent about this specifically, but they're supposed to basically like FedEx you or overnight you some stuff that would outline the stuff around your release and your termination terms. And that's a thing that Andrade did not feel like happened with him. But with Ridge Holland, he's still at the Performance Center rehabbing his injuries. Like, I talked to people that are like, I saw him yesterday or Monday or Tuesday. And I'm like, yeah, they've got to let him rehab there. And that happens with NFL teams too. Or there's like when an NFL team cuts you and you're injured, they still got to let you rehab there. I'm McFall says, I have a non-disparagement clause in my contract. If WWE is anything like mine, they could have opened themselves up to another challenge. Ridge stated facts. He didn't disparage the company. Plus, he was working for TNA. I shouldn't be shocked that WWE did what they did today. But I was. And, as heartless as Vince McMahon has been in the past, he did not fire injured people. He fired pregnant people before he fired injured people, for the love of God. And now it has become common. BJ Ray, Ridge Holland, Carl Anderson, all got fired while they were hurt. And I saw somebody say, oh, well, what do you want them to do? Just extend his deal while he's hurt and then release him after? Literally, yes. The guy got hurt working an unpaid extra date for your company. And you're not taking care of the guy? I can't believe that. That's gross, man. That's gross. I'll tell you what's not gross. NordVPN.com/Fightful. If you're a wrestling fan and you're looking to save money, NordVPN.com/Fightful is here to help. I completely cut the cord on cable because I've got NordVPN.com/Fightful. Over 2 years of NordVPN.com/Fightful costs less than 1 month of cable TV. Not only that, if you're a WWE fan, all you need is a Netflix subscription and NordVPN.com/Fightful. You get all their shows. It's not just that, though. You can get pay-per-views at the rate that they are paying overseas as opposed to the incredible rates that we pay here in the States, thanks to NordVPN.com/Fightful. You might say, Sean, how's that possible? With NordVPN, you change your virtual location with just one click and you appear virtually wherever you want to be. But it's not just that. They've got threat protection. They've got 24/7 customer support and a 30-day money-back guarantee in case you don't like it, but you're going to. Go check out all the features over at NordVPN.com/Fightful. Guys, if you're watching live, please share the link or just retweet one of the numerous links over on my Twitter or the Fightful Twitter. We would appreciate that very much. So this AEW Dynamite show, we had the men's Blood and Guts advantage battle. Claudio defeated Orange Cassidy. Listen, Orange Cassidy he used to be one of the more protected guys on the AEW roster. Like, just one of those dudes that they viewed as a top-ish guy. And I mean, if you look back at a lot of the most viewed clips in AEW history, you would see a lot of Orange Cassidy there. So honestly, anytime he loses, it perks my ears up a little bit. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, this guy lost to Claudio this month. He lost to Kyle Fletcher last month. Before he came back, or before he left for injury, he was losing to Takeshita. He lost to Hangman Page. He lost to Moxley at Full Gear. It feels like the last year, and he's only had 8 singles matches in AEW. Dude's been putting people over quite a bit. Like, this is not the supremely protected Orange Cassidy that we have seen for quite some time. I love that super Stun Dog Millionaire. Like I love that. That was so good. Claudio gets the win. This is good stuff, man. Like Claudio has now become that guy who feels like if he's getting beaten because he's the enforcer, so to speak, of that group, that again, very seemingly protected group, that's going to perk my ears up now, because let's think back to where he's been. I think he lost to maybe he lost quite a bit in the spring, right? Because he lost Cope, Cole, Joe, Briscoe, Darby. But since then, since August, it's been pretty straight up, like him beating Hobbs, him beating Roderick, him beating Orange Cassidy. So, I'm liking that. And Brian Kelly says he lost the top guys, though. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, for sure. And like again, there's nothing wrong with him losing those, so to speak. But it does still surprise me a little bit just watching him eat L's, because he was very, very protected for a very long time. I don't know. Oh, it's Luis saying that he thinks that Claudio is going to uppercut Mox straight to the ceiling after Blood and Guts. Moxley as a babyface is something that I think needs to happen, because if you're not going to have Will Ospreay for a long time, I think that adding some baby faces would be a good idea. Yeah. Briscoe versus Fletcher is going to be no DQ for Full Gear, by the way. He joins the family if he loses. That's something I forgot to mention. AEW Women's Tag Team Championship first round. The Babes of Wrath, Harley, Cameron, and Willow Nightingale defeated Mercedes, Moné, and Athena. Harley ends up pinning Athena. I think that Harley should have pinned Mercedes. That should have been the move. The puppet, all that good stuff. And this isn't for one of her championships. I think that this helps the illusion a little bit if Mercedes takes that loss. And also, Athena is like, you got all those championships, but I've had mine for 1,000 days. And the one that I have means more than all 12 of yours combined. I really think there was a missed opportunity here of establishing that Harley somehow has Mercedes' number. Willow also getting a pin on anybody I would have been good with, because Willow being established as a top person, fine with. But I think that while Athena didn't need to be pinned, I actually think that Mercedes does need to be pinned. I think that is because listen, she gets a lot of the weirdos. Let's be real. A lot of the weirdos that just doesn't that think that she books herself. But when you take those L's, and one of them was against Toni Storm, but then you take another one against Harley Cameron right here, there is something story-based where Harley Cameron, everybody thinks she's a joke, and they take her lightly. And she's like, no, I learned from our last match. I learned from that opportunity. Crowd was really into this match. Crowd was super into it. And I also really, really liked that Billy Starks was involved there. Like Billy is the person that I look for to beat Athena eventually. And that having her involved, perhaps begrudgingly, is, I think, the right move. Because she's going to be like, I can't believe you made me do that. You knew how much that bothered me that you even teamed with her. You know how much it bothered me that I got overlooked. If it were me, I would have been there for you. I would have had your back. Instead, I had to run out to the ring and try to help you cheat. I want to see more out of Billy here. Backstage, we have the Young Bucks approached by Don Callis, and Renee is like, so are you part of the Don Callis family or what? Like, what's the deal here? What's going on? And the Young Bucks are like, hold on. I don't know. And they bring in Okada to kind of vouch for it, because Okada wants his guys there with him. But that ain't going to happen. I think eventually they're with Takeshita. I think that's the way that it goes. And you got kind of a new elite, so to speak. I thought this was well played. And Don Callis wants them as a part of his team very badly. Really, really wants them as a part of his team. They don't seem keen on it. Doesn't seem like they're going to do it. But they are. It's when you don't want to tell someone no, and you're just delaying it and delaying it and delaying it, because we know they're not joining. We know they're not going to be a part of it. But Okada with Don Callis has been very, very good. We had Darby Allin defeating Daniel Garcia in the men's blood and guts advantage battle. Guys, get in your super chats. Get in your humper chats. This was a very wrestling heavy show. Not a lot of individual angles here. But Darby Allin defeated Daniel Garcia. I love bringing back the Scorpion Deathlock. And I know my friend Vicky, big Sting fan, is loving that Darby's using that Scorpion Deathlock and that it's reestablished as a finishing move here in the year 2025. Just love that. All about it. Because it was a top-notch. It was, quite frankly, let's be real, it was the submission finisher of the 90s. Because the figure four didn't finish a lot of people. The ankle lock kind of emerged late 90s, especially Ken Shamrock, Kurt Angle, all that. But in the 90s, you looked at the sharpshooter and you're like, Brett, Owen, Sting. Like, those were some of the guys that used it. Like, and now it being brought back, and not just a Bret Hart tribute move. Like, I'm all for it when Dax uses it. I'm all for it when somebody like that uses it. When Claudio uses it and all that. Natty uses it a finisher in WWE, but when has she finished a match, right? When does it finish a match? But them having Sting hand this over to Darby, who, has used the coffin drop for years. And listen, people are always like, oh, Darby's going to tear his body up. He's going to tear his body up. Probably, man, I got the hiccups. But I am just glad that this sharpshooter, this Scorpion Deathlock, is back as a finish, and they both used it. Joy J says The Rock was offensive. So when I asked Bret Hart who did the best sharpshooters, he said The Rock's wasn't bad. And I was like, do you just forget it? But he also said to me, it's a lot easier if I told you who did the worst ones. Yes, the Last Supper pin. I love that pin as well. That's a great pin. I'm a big fan, a big proponent of pins beating good wrestlers. I love it. I've mentioned this before. Bret Hart versus Diesel at Survivor Series 99 is an all-time favorite of mine. Like, I love that finish. I think it's great. I want more of that. That's what I want. Tell you what else I want more of. You guys getting in your bets with MyBookie. At MyBookie AG, they say that you can bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. And they mean it. NBA, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, UFC, pro wrestling. But that's not it. Motorsports, golf, tennis, darts, cycling, cricket, handball, floorball, rugby, snooker, volleyball, table tennis, cycling. Yeah, you can bet on it at MyBookie AG. They got the best support system in the business. We only want you to bet what you can, and please bet responsibly. But go take advantage of being able to bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. They got live esports. They got racing. They got everything at MyBookie AG. And right now, get a $50 bonus when you deposit $100 or a $100 bonus when you deposit $200. You can bet with Bitcoin and play their great casino games as well. MyBookie AG. Just saw Natty's post that John Cena visited the dungeon. How cool is that, man? Like John Cena giving back. I love that, man. The dungeon is quickly becoming like a must visit spot for so many wrestlers. Very cool. Love seeing that. And listen, you all know I'm a big Natty guy, big TJ guy. They've always been like their whole family, the whole Hart family has been incredibly helpful to my career. So greatly appreciate those people. And I love seeing what John Cena does there. That's very cool. So Pac got involved in this match, dressed in all black. And Tony Schiavone was like, oh my God, we almost didn't see him because he was dressed in black. I was like, y'all couldn't see him? He's built like a fridge, bro. But I mean, he did kind of blend in with everything on the show. It was a very dark, dimly lit show tonight, right? Meanwhile, I loved the setup, and I asked somebody to send me a view opposite hard camera, but they sent me one the opposite direction. It had this really cool look. It looked like a bar setup in the background, right? But you couldn't tell it wasn't lit. And I was like, why not light that? Like, of course, you're not going to have an ass every 18 inches there. It's going to be a different setup, but show me what it looks like back there. If it looks different, turn those damn lights on. If it looks like wrestling at the Chase, show me wrestling at the Chase. Like, make that background, make that venue a part of your show. Now, that being said, I love the LEDs and the ring aprons with all the DC stuff because it's really colorful. I'm a fan of the look at my damn frame here. I said I wanted, some elements of darkness and some elements of color. That's what I got here. I like the nasty boy element. But I want to see that there are people there. I want to see that people are enjoying themselves because the audience is an important part of the show. You don't have to cut to them like Kevin Dunn made the norm, but like I want to see that they're there. We get everybody. By the way, Luis says that it was reportedly a sellout according to WrestleTix. Listen, man, I mentioned this a year and a half ago. They needed to go to smaller venues, and it's better to sell those out and have a great environment than to go to Rupp Arena, which is 3 miles from my house, and it to be cavernous, bro. Now, what has resulted is we haven't gotten an AEW show this year in Lexington. Don't know when we will, unless they go to like All-Tech Arena or something. But get out of the cavernous arenas and go to places like this. Post-match beatdown, Death Riders get involved. Some conglomeration members get involved. Miji War says, was O'Reilly just selling his ass off? Because the way he was moving his leg has me concerned. I saw him holding his leg down on the ground. I believe he was selling. He's a very smart guy. He's a very good seller as well. I told him once that he's got sad selling eyes. And I meant that as a compliment. I don't know if he took it that way. He's like, I got diabetes, bro. But I mean it because he's a good seller. Like he's an emotional facial expression seller. And I didn't want to say, you sell good with the facials, because I know people will clip that and talk about facials. But he was like, dog, I got diabetes. I was like, I know, but that's not what I mean. I'm not saying that you... I just think he can sell well. He uses facial expressions well. Damn. FTR had a segment confronting Bandito's grandmother and Gravity. Now, maybe I'm misremembering a luchador. And I don't want people to aggregate this. But I am pretty sure that somebody told me that Bandito's grandmother or mother, I think it might be his grandmother, thinks wrestling is a shoot, or did at that point. Like, didn't know that it was a work, which rules, by the way. It's incredible. But I can't. I believe it was Bandito and Gravity's grandmother, but Stokely was blocking the door, and I love how he worked in the HBO Max plug. He's like, I don't know where Brodito are. I don't know, and they're banging on the door to get out. He's like, by the way, have you seen The Wire? It's on HBO Max, which, by the way, incredible show. Listen, if you ain't watched it in 20 years, I just want to say, one of the most heartbreaking closing shots. Dookie, my heart still hurts for Dookie. I wanted Dookie to emerge. Oh, the way that my heart shattered into like 4 million pieces at that closing shot, man. I don't know if I'll get over that. Wire's an all-timer, man. Even if you don't watch the show, go watch like Man of Recaps or Recap and Chill or something like that. Like incredible show. But damn, Dookie. Eventually, Bandito and somebody says spoilers. Come on now. I didn't give you a specific spoiler. It's been 20 years. It's been 20 years. By the way, guys, Sideshow Bob tries to kill Bart Simpson. Brodito are making the save. Gravity's making the save. Listen, Gravity was a guy that they brought in probably as a favor to Bandito originally, and like in the ring wasn't making like the best impressions. And he went out after he left AEW and worked his ass off and got more reps in AEW as a result of that. So I got a lot of love for him. Which one was Dookie? I can't remember. Oh, you got to watch, man. He was the one that had the most unfortunate of circumstances, it seemed. Damn. Women's blood and guts advantage battle. Megan Bayne defeated Mina Shirakawa, not Queen Aminata, as is in our notes. Luis! But Tony Storm was on commentary. I have been told that there's a way that they differentiate Tony Storm, Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone internally. I think what they do, I'm going to find out what way. Look, hold on. Luis is putting in my notes. Luis, I'm screenshotting this, buddy. Let's look what Luis is doing. Look at what I do with. I'm putting my producer on blast. Look at him. Look at him. He tried to be slick. He tried to pull one on me. Look at this. Look at his unprofessionalism. Look at this. This is our document, our production document. He said, I had it on here mentioning Queen, Sean, but look what's underneath it, Luis. Women's blood and guts advantage battle. Megan Bayne versus Queen Aminata. Listen, guys, I have told Luis a number of times, I am like Ron Burgundy. I am like Evan on Bruce Almighty. I will say that my tiny little nipples went to France. I will say, go fuck yourself, San Diego. I will read it if it is on the document. I ain't got much sleep this week, Luis. What are we doing here, Luis? You want that Fightful Espanol plug? El Clone, what'd you do with the real Luis? Come on now. Tony Storm wants to know if Excalibur will commentate her orgies. And then she calls Megan Bayne a big bitch. She's like, she knocked down that big bitch. She was phenomenal. So, the highlight of this match was the finish. The absolute Hossacity. It sounds a little bad. The hossness of that finish. You got a running power bomb started, and I'm just going to show you all. Let me see here. What can I pull up? Here we go. I'm going to show you guys the screenshot that I took of the spot in this match. By the time this happened, Mina had already been lifted up into powerbomb position. This was her descent on the powerbomb. But Megan Bayne said, no. And what happened after this was a picture-perfect running powerbomb. Because from this position, a very difficult position in which to hit a powerbomb, one leg out, one leg in, not just, honestly, it looked like Mina kind of messed this up a little bit. And then Megan Bayne just remarkably hossed Mina Shirakawa up and just, well, bam. Mina has been another hit from overseas for AEW. I don't know about the AEW booking and all that, but just phenomenal hoss work from Megan Bayne. Now, I'll use this opportunity to take a drink of water. Sorry, man, these allergies. Got to breathe, got to drink water. I'll plug a free FightfulSelect.com show. So I wasn't here for AEW Dynamite. And I didn't review Collision, obviously. Wasn't here for SmackDown because I don't cover it. And I had to take Monday night off as well. Big thank you to my team for stepping up. But listen, I'm always trying to give you guys your money's worth, especially on Fightful Select. Always. In fact, Fightful Select subscribers, I want you to do yourself a favor. Go ahead and subscribe right now. Lock in that year-long price because Jimmy's going to probably try to raise the price in 2026. Fair warning. But tomorrow, we are announcing a significant addition to FightfulSelect.com. Significant. You guys are going to be very happy about this. Our already subscribers are going to be very, very happy about this, and might tip the scales for some of you. Listen, Luis knows what it is. Luis knows what it is. We're probably going to have more scoops than ever before. I'll say that. More shows than ever before as well. And I'm adding a new show, a new monthly show myself. I've mentioned it before, SRS 10, where I rewatch matches I've rated 10 out of 10. It's going to be good. An awful lot on FightfulSelect.com coming up. Kate says she knows what it is. It's good. It's very good. But this week, I did a free show on Fightful Select. We have a free tier over there. And I gave a bunch of notes, and I reviewed some things on SmackDown, on Collision, on Dynamite, on Saturday night's main event. You know, listen, if that will encourage subscriptions in the future, I might do like weekly wrap-ups of the things that I don't cover here on the main site. But love the women's blood and guts advantage battle. And yes, to pile driver finisher, this week's Douglas. An absolute Doug. Straight from the Doug house is Megan Bayne. The Opps defeated Hangman Page, Hook, and Eddie Kingston. I was very happy to see Hook getting so much time in this match because it's the right thing to do. And just adding this, a trios title match at the end of Dynamite after being set up at the start of the show. Hell yeah, man. I don't mind this, man. Like, I know that AEW is traditionally the show that has everything announced ahead of time. But I think that you need to establish that you will make some matches during the show as well. Not all the time, but you have to show people like, hey, this isn't all we've got. We got some other stuff as well. And I love the reaction of them being like, yeah, we're doing this tonight. And I really like that Hook got so much time tonight. Not just his offense, which I love his offense. You guys should know by now, big fan of judo style offense. It's different than everybody else in pro wrestling. He got a great reaction for hossing Will Hobbs over his head. Really, really like that. Really like that. Him tapping to the torture rack, I don't have a problem with it. They highlighted that he had a back injury, and traditionally in wrestling history, the human torture rack has been like a very quick tap out for everybody. Like, it has been a move that always is portrayed as like, no, you get put in this, you are tapping out. You are. No, I get it. The match was already made. It just wasn't for the trios title. I mean, that's what I mean, which I wouldn't mind this being made on the fly either, but adding the trios title part to it is something that I like. And that's what I want them. I want them to do more of that, and just honestly making more matches on the fly as well. But again, listen, Hook did pretty well, and I was really digging getting to see more of him and hearing that reaction. Hangman Page versus Hobbs, Falls Count Anywhere added to Blood and Guts. Next Wednesday, Thursday will be an interesting Fightful Select day as well. Yeah. Guys, I want to say thank you all so much. I know this isn't our usual 70-minute review. Again, dealing with a sick kitty. Want to get down to her, check on her, all that. Want to wish Alex Pawlowski well. We've got so much content on Fightful, and I want to take a few minutes to promote it. Fightful Overbooked. If you're not checking that out, you're missing the best morning show in wrestling. All due respect to Busted Open. In the Weeds is incredible. I had Righteous Reg of Grapsity, which airs every Saturday at noon, on the hump with me today. It was a great time. He and I don't do a lot of shows together. I've got Phil Lindsay on next week. In 2 weeks, I have Con Man. So excited to do a show with him. In a few more weeks, I think it's Thanksgiving week, I have Kimmy, who is your wrestling agent, wrestling convention person extraordinaire, on there to talk a lot about WrestleCade and stuff like that. If you're at WrestleCade in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, please come say hi to me. I am not traveling much these days. I am much more of a homebody. I am not getting out to nearly as many shows, but WrestleCade is a must attend for me. There are so many, first off, wrestlers to meet, wrestling shows there, just a good time. And if you're there, please come up and say hi to me. It would mean a lot. I also want to send our love to Rob Wilkins. Rob lost his father in the last week, and they had the service today. And Rob Wilkins is the best kind of person that you can ever know. He is a wonderful, loyal, honest friend. He's got a great heart, and he is just a miraculous person. He is as good of a human being as you will ever experience. And I did not know his father, but his father did a hell of a job raising him. So that makes me think an awful lot of his father as well. We want to send our love to Rob, and just, everything that he's going through, because he is the best of us. He is just the best guy. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. And again, I want to apologize for missing a couple shows. I don't like to miss shows. And our team, especially Kate, helping organize a lot of how this, organize a lot of the traffic and the people that would be filling in for me, means an awful lot. Going to leave you guys with subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. Look at me. Trust me. Good stuff is coming. And before we go, I'll leave you with a word from our good friend John Alba and the Hardys.
Fightful fans, the Hardy Party is coming to the heart of Times Square. This is your chance to meet the legendary tag team goats themselves, the Hardy Boys. A live Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, a live Jeff Hardy acoustic concert, food, drinks, and an opportunity to get a signed item and a picture with the tag team goats. It's all going down at Connolly's off 45th Street in New York City on November 22nd, right before AEW Full Gear. You will have a chance to be able to go to both shows if you'd like to HardyBoysLive.com is where you can get your tickets now. General admission is available. Meet, greet, and delete tickets are available, and we hope to see you there.